So good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle Grisenda. I'm a board member for MSMCP. Today is August 7th. We have a 1-hour virtual presentation um, about USDA, basically the Natural Resource Conservation Service programs and current opportunities for assistance in conservation.
So you know that,
Oops, I'm just gonna be muting people as if you haven't yet, be sure to make sure you're muted. We have here today, we have Zariah Bajos, and she wrote a wonderful bio that I learned so much about. I'm just gonna actually read your bio, Zariah, because I thought it was fascinating. Grew up on a small family farm in Brazil, got her bachelor's degree in agronomy in 2003. After working 2.5 years as a technical assistant at Farm Services Organization in Brazil. She earned her master's degree in crop sciences in 2007. She has all but a dissertation. She has all but a dissertation. Maybe do you have a dissertation PhD in plant, soil, and insect sciences at University of Massachusetts at Amherst in 2012. During her time at UMass, Zariah taught an ag production course to a wide range of farmers and worked for more than a decade at UMass doing research extension work related to ethnic crops production and marketing. She was part of the team that created the Health Incentives Program. She also has experience with the Massachusetts Commonwealth Quality Program. Zariah has informally worked with a wide range of farmers, wholesalers, buyers, and others in the produce industry to improve farm workplace conditions and communications across language barriers. Zariah is proficient in 3 languages, Portuguese, English, and Spanish, and she is currently the public affairs specialist at the Natural Resource Conservation Services in Massachusetts. So before I have Zariah speak to us, I will just note, for my personal ignorance, obviously most of us are familiar with USDA and NRCS and MDAR likely, but even though I've been doing this role for 20 years, I still don't really feel like I have a grasp on like the different resources and opportunities that are out there for towns, municipalities. And that is why I've reached out to Zariah to hopefully sort of educate us on some of the resources and tools that her organization can help supply us. So with that, welcome, Zariah.
Thank you. Thank you for the intro. Thank you for inviting me for the presentation. So I'm gonna go jump into it. And if you have questions, you can, make them in the chat or interrupt me. I don't mind. Or you can save it for the end. It's up to you. But I'm just gonna talk about, like the resources we have in general, not only for, like towns, because sometimes, farmers and private landowners, they go look for, help. And you may be that person, the first encounter with the, like this is where you find this, right? So I think, the more clarity we have about the programs we offer, the better, I think it makes it better, a payback to, the taxpayer money. So, the USDA has, sister agencies. So we have FSA, NRCS, and RMA, and we work together to provide several services. I'm gonna talk be specifically about the NRCS side. But if you want in another opportunity, we can do a combination, which we bring in people from each agency and how we interact with each other. I'm gonna just say, like it has been a very good learning curve for me, understand that and be able to tell people, like it's not that difficult, but it takes, like you need to do your part. And need to do your part is, start knowing where to start and the whole process. And that's how we're gonna go ahead and on the presentation. So everything at the NRCS starts with the conservation plan, right? So the landowner has a problem. There's something going on. I have a resource concern. And when we say resource concern, we are thinking about soil, water, wildlife, air, everything, with that range. And they will look for, you know, like a conservation field office. In Massachusetts, we have 5, and I'm gonna at the very end, I'm gonna show you where they are located, and that's helpful because you can walk in if you want, and you can also set up an appointment. So that is the information I'm gonna give it to you is the very last slide. But that is very helpful because, you know, at first I thought was like untouchable. You know, it was only the website people. No, they are real humans. They exist and they are there to help you and to guide through the process. And, you know, like it is voluntary. We cannot, you know, tell people this is what you had to do. So the landowner or, you know, like the town or the nonprofit needs to communicate with us and say, we have this resource concern and we need help. And that's the starting conversation, right? And then we come back to you and, you know, offer a multiple range of things. And usually we address the concern that you have, and we also may offer extra, you know, because sometimes you know, it takes time to develop a conservation plan. It takes hours of work and is a relationship building thing. So when a planner, you know, a field office person comes to your land to do that first visit, he will check, you know, before he goes, he does his homework and he will check, you know, our maps, because we have access to, you know, survey soil maps, we have access to vegetation maps, and then we check that before we go. And then when we get there, you know, like we have a wide range of programs. So this is the flagship program, the EQIP, the Environmental Quality Incentives Program. And I don't know if you have seen, you know, some farms that I received this, you know, like this hoop house from NRCS. This is how, you know, like this is how that happened. So the conservation planner goes there. The landowner say that he wants to have a high tunnel, and usually, you know, the high tunnel, you have to, you know, we finance that, we help, you know, like we have a financial assistance for that, and you have to cultivate on the soil. It cannot be, you know, we don't build greenhouses per se. It's only like the hoop houses or the one that, you know, the sides open, but it has, you know, like when you have even a, you know, something that we do on a daily basis, like a hoop house, it has multiple parts. You know, it has you saying that you want, you know, the landowner saying that they, you know, I want this. And then the planner say, oh, it is possible. And then he will activate the engineer, because it's an engineer, it has an, you know, engineer you know, part of it. And also, you know, because it's something that is going to build and go in the ground and, you know, have some sort of disturbance in the ground, we also have to come with an archaeologist that will check if it is possible, if you're not disturbing, you know, like a land that has, you know, like artifacts or a tribal land or anything that can, you know, like flag that, or if it's not a wetland, or if it's not a highly erodible land. So that's why, you know, the conservation planner will come to your farm and say, this is possible, this is not possible. And that's how, you know, make the decisions. You have to analyze every single information about your land, not only what you want, not only what you are saying you have a problem, but also seeing the big picture about the environment, right? So, and here, you know, like you have some numbers, but we have way more money this year because of the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, that EQIP has a lot of money to, you know, be able to help farmers, to assist farmers and landowners in general. But, you know, EQIP can provide, for instance, you know, like for orchard irrigation, you know, like setting up wells, having patio, you know, for composting. So all of those things, they fit under the EQIP, right? So there are multiple opportunities to get help, you know. it's just a question of, do you need the help? Do you want our help? Because it's all like, when you decide to ask for help, it's like, this is how we do things, like things take time. It's not in 24 hours you're going to get the work done. Because like I said, as a survey before you go, we have to do our part before we go there. And then that is the whole process of, the application process. And, like, you are ranked, and then you were chosen as a your project, and then the financial happens, and you have to execute, right? And you have to make sure that you did what you wrote in the plan, because the plan has two parts: the planner and the person that received the plan saying, this is what I wanted, right? So the conservation stewardship program, this is, somewhat that municipalities can participate, because it has more like it's a partnership. So it could be multiple municipalities applying for a grant or applying for, this partnership program. And it's, it helps people that already conserve going to the next level. So there is a lot of money also because of the Inflation Reduction Act on that. And it helps people that already do conservation. Let's say, MACD, or, AFT, like people that already have working, like you guys, like you already work on the conservation, you're not new to it, and you already, you are ready for the next level. So this is one of the programs and a lot of those programs, they come with notice of funding. And the notice of funding are, I'm the person responsible to spread the word out. And the way we do it through the, like that is a signing place, and is the farmers.gov website. And I'm going to share, the website with you guys. But it's a, you sign up for the newsletter. When you sign up for the newsletter for the state of Massachusetts, because it's, it's like, it's county based, it identify where you are. And I can send communications specifically to each county. And that helps, because sometimes what, the coast needs is not the same that the mountain needs. So it's helpful in general for programming. Agricultural conservation is the main program. It's to help, like, let's say you have a wetland on your land and you're still paying taxes for it. So you can put that parcel, that land, in the easement contract, and that's in partnership with other, entities, because USDA pays 50% of the like the cost of the land. And then, institutions like we have partners like the state, the API program. The API program, we pay for 50% of the cost of everything they do, right? So, and we also do that with, like the land trusts, because they do acquire land to be put in, like we can do an easement with them too. And usually it's, like it's, wetlands that will be put in, forever preservation. And that easement not only pays for the land, but also takes that burden out of your taxes. So it's a true, like, and then that piece of land stays in conservation. And that's the goal, like having all the wetlands we have in Massachusetts to be able to, like being conserved for generations to come. The CSP Conservation Reserve Program is, like it helps to, like improve water quality, prevent soil erosion. And it is like you already do conservation, and you kind of pay the rent of that. And you already have to be in the process of conserving. So you already own the system, right? I say equip is their first door to conservation, and then you grow from there, right? So as you improve your conservation practices, there are more opportunities for you. And you have, in this case, you have to do conservation for 10 to 15 years to qualify. So conservation innovation grants, this is where, like I see lots of opportunities for municipalities in general, because it is open for the, like multiple levels of government, schools. And I send the notice of funding, including this one, every time we have, and that is a state level conservation innovation grant, and that is, the national level, and you can apply for both, and you can apply by town, and you can apply with multiple towns. I was hearing the conversation that Michelle was saying, that there'll be a person that will do the admin work for multiple towns. So maybe there is an opportunity for a grant like that, because, like when you are doing things, with a region or with multiple partners, and make your proposal, stronger. So the more the merrier. So in this case, it's the same, like conservation innovation grants. It does support practices. And even if it's something that is not being done, it can be considered if you frame it right. And that's why, the innovation part of the grant. So this is, like more of a broader umbrella, the regional conservation partnership. This has to be done in multiple states. So it's a bit more like you have to be with more people. I have seen like land grants universities, and I have seen, like nonprofits that they already have work within, a region like the Northeast region. I have seen the Pennsylvania Agriculture Sustainable Agriculture Program. They have, like a RCPP project, and we have currently we have a huge RCPP project going on with the climate smart practices. And if you want, there's a link that I did not think about it, but I should add, because it's going on. There are multiple institutions in the state, about 15 of them, that they are doing this, and they have a very good, I'd say, first contract dollar amount. And it's basically mimicking what NRCS does. It is USDA money at the end of the day, because it was a grant, but it has multiple opportunities, like for people that never had contact with NRCS, to go through a nonprofit that is more localized, like a smaller. So I'd say CISA, they have it. NOFA, Massachusetts, they have it. So there are others, like in different parts of the state. And you can, on this link, you can actually look for the partner by, by state and by region. So it's kind of nice to find out who is working in your town, because they have also, like they can be reached, and they say, oh, I have people that want to work with you, and they can sign a contract for 4 years, and that will benefit the farmer and the landowner. So in general, all those grants, they are supported by science-based, practices that they are studied, they are proven, and they only hear if they work, right? It only gets to this part if they really give, like financial and environmental benefit for the farm and for the environment. So we have hundreds of practices, and it's really difficult to talk about each one of them. I'm gonna do like a general, and then if you ever come across with some question, you can send me an email, and I can help to answer or find out the person that could answer that. But it's like we have hundreds of practices, and not every practice has a financial assistance, but some of them, they are married together. For instance, when you are doing prescribed grazing, you can also add fencing, and they are different practices. They have different amount of money that you receive assistance, but they are very easily put it together on the same contract. So when you have the planner coming to your land, he will figure it out. This, like you're having problems, you want do it better. You wanted to, like graze weekly and move your herd. And this is how, like they will plan everything, and they assign multiple practices. And all of those practices, they already, have proven that they work. And the person that is doing the planning also is someone that is qualified to execute the work. And every conservation practice has a standard, right? And that's where I see, um, you know, like if we are doing cover crop, for instance, like to, do a cover crop, you cannot plant cover crop for our practice standards. You cannot plant cover crop in November because that's too late. For our standards, you need to plant by September, like everything has a way of doing. And it's not because we want to be hard on the days. It's because, if you don't plant by this day, the growth is not going to be enough to protect the land before the snow comes, or before the soil is frozen. And we want to make sure that the more we have coverage in the soil, the better. But if you plant in November, it doesn't work. And if like you spend the money buying the seeds, you did everything, and you did everything not according to the plan, and that can be a problem, right? So make sure that when you receive your plan, you understand, like there's dates. And in Massachusetts, there's no planting without a calendar. So you need to, like be aware that everything you do, it is in a calendar. And sometimes, the money, it's not, doesn't have the same timeline of the whole growing season. That can happen, and it can bring some frustrations. But like I think if you do everything that you were supposed to within time, it's perfect, because you have help. You have a technical assistance qualified on your land. The technical assistant is free. No one is charging. So you have a person that went to school for it, that does that for a living, and they're gonna help you, and they don't charge for it, right? I think, technical assistance with the practices that they are approved, it's only winning. The chances of, like the chances you have to benefit from it are, like huge. So not only you, because you have the financial assistance, but also the environment, because everything we do is to make it better, right? So I think it's the best marriage there, like the conservation practices with the planning and assisting for your interest, like for the farmers and landowners' interest. So conservation concerns tools, everything we do has, a tool, and you can actually access, let's say you want to see a soil survey, you want to see what is in your town, and it's free access. You just, look for the farmers.gov information, and those tools are available. And also they are available, like they're easily available to us. You can contact us and say, Zoraya, I'm gonna buy a land, and like we are planning to buy this acreage, and we want to know before we buy what is in it, right? Because I have seen it on my lifetime, multiple people that bought a farm, and they had a wetland area, but they, like they bought as a 70-acre farm, but 15 acre of that farm cannot be touched because they are, preservation, wetland preservation protection. So I think, like when you know what you have, what we have to offer is easier. So we have the soil survey, we have wetland survey, we have, geological information, and though everything is readily available, but like you can look for yourself or you can ask for help. So either way, if you want to ask for someone help, you send an email to it. That is our email page with, every name and people that work on the office. And also we have our 5 offices, and the 5 offices have a district conservationist that is a person responsible for that office, and they will direct to the best person. So they all help, like we have personnel to help for every question, but the tools are there to be used. This is a very good way to, like some people learn better. I have hundreds of fact sheets, right? But some people, they learn better with videos. And sometimes you need that extra idea for a grant writing, for a proposal. This is great for it because when you go here, I'm gonna try to open my, but there are multiple videos on this page, and I can share with you that is for the practice, what they did. And it's like a 2-minute, 1-minute video, but can give you the idea. I have the same problem. I have problem with compost. So you go there, watch what they did, and then contact an office and say, I want to do something like they did here. And I think this is a great resource for people that, like are not reading. They are more of visual learners. I think this is a great resource, that you can use. Okay, how do I come back?
We can still see the regular presentation. It never played the video, but we still see your presentation.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay, good. Thank you.
I know sometimes it's
But they
hard.
are like, oops, there are several videos that you can choose from each practice. Let's say in your town you have more livestock, and there are like dozens of videos only for livestock. There is improvement and examples of practices. So let's say you want a waste facility, you wanted to create a compost facility for a farm. That is an example there. And what the language they use, what did they do? What is the size of it? How many animals they have for that area? So it gives you an idea of proposals that you can submit. And everything is voluntary, right? So, but at the end of the day, on our end, what we want, if we want soil health, we want to make sure that we are reducing the erosion. We want to, maximize water infiltration with coverage in the soil. Because when you have, like when you plant for the right date, if you plant in September, you have that cover crop that will help, slow down the precipitation going. I mean, instead of washing, is infiltrating in the soil, right? So you don't lose topsoil, which is, very expensive to replace. And you also help that water goes lower to the, to the underground. So, and we want everything we do is to minimize, disturbance, maximize soil cover, and preserve the biodiversity and increase if we can, right? Instead of planting one species of cover crop, we know that there is a benefit to improve the numbers, to increase the numbers and the varieties of the cover crop. So everything is laid out for you on the practice, but the goal for us is to, like improve, the conservation of that soil, and to improve the use, making sure that the land's gonna be there for years to come, right? That's our goal. The financial assistance is great, but this is our goal. The same thing with water quality, what we wanted to fight erosion. So if we are covering everything, make sure that we are doing our part. The water is not gonna wash, and that wash land is gonna go to, like near shores and rivers, and creating a safe base. And I drive through the Connecticut River, and from like 16 years being here, I already noticed there's way more sand than before. And that happens because like the riparian buffer is being taken out, not taken care of. So we do have practices that improve the riparian buffer, but you need to say, I want it. You know, and sometimes towns and municipalities can say, wow, maybe we can get a project that we're going to increase or improve the riparian buffer for this area that is in our town. And we're going to work with multiple farmers and put together a proposal. And that's the type of grant that has a very nice, like there is a goal that it will benefit everyone, not only the town or the farmers. And at the end, it looks as a good proposal. So, making sure that we have water, because if we are, with every practice we do, it's not like, oh, we're gonna give you irrigation. No, we're gonna check which one is the best for you, which one is use less water, that is more efficient, less electricity, because on our end, we wanted to help you to, have the resources. And we also wanted to conserve the amount of water you put. So we may, like you want to overhead irrigation, for instance, to your land, because this is what you have worked for, the last 10 years. And we may say, I think you would benefit to have, drip irrigation, because that way you put only the amount that the plant needs instead of overspending the water and splashing and causing disease on the topsoil, on the, the surface of the plants. So even, like every time we have a practice, that is, the what the farmer want. And also we are looking to the conservation side, right? I have heard, oh, you were giving irrigation to people and they're wasting our water. But guess what? If we irrigate the plants on the right way, we use less water than otherwise, right? If they do irrigation, a surface irrigation, that you just drive the water around and inundate plots, which I know some farmers do, they waste way more water. So if we can do it in a way that is going to conserve the resource, that's our preference, right? So when we are prescribing practices, this is what we have our mind, to it. Like, how can we help? Can we reduce the amount of water? Can we put something to measure the water consumption? Can we, make sure that we are providing, the technological assistance for that grower to be able to do on their own, right? Because sometimes, it's all like, I don't have electricity. Okay, so can we give assistance for, like solar electricity to be established? How can we do that? Or we can do the well and the solar panel. So there's always, like all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, our goal is to conserve resources. We still need to produce the vegetables. We still need to produce, like livestock. So, but the goal is to produce the vegetables and the livestock with the conservation practices in mind, and how you can do it to, not overexert the soil and the land. And a lot of, like farmers in general, like I visit hundreds of farmers in Massachusetts, and a lot of them, they have pieces of land that they don't touch. So we do have, like practices that help, like doing like a brush management or a prescribed, rotational grazing. Or right now we just got, like our forest person, he got his license to do prescribing burning, which will improve, like if you have a lot of, we in Massachusetts, we have a lot of invasives, right? So prescribed burning is a way that you can, make sure that the invasive is not overgrowing on the forest, right? So there are things, even if you are not using that land, but to conserve the land, right? So, and we also do a lot of forest, silvopasture and forest practices that can help forest landowner too. And EQIP has lots of practices that would help to give technical assistance and financial assistance for it. And, with the climate smart agriculture forestry, I'm gonna share, the link for the, we do every time we are planning right now. This is on our bucket list. This is the first one we're gonna check, right? And also there are the partners that they are doing the whole state too. So I think the more we can share, so you have access to this, the better, right? But what we wanted to reduce energy consumption and planning things that, they consume less resource, less water, you know, making sure that they are not polluting their air. Sorry. That the soil is covered, is conserved. If you have a livestock, how can we, like make sure that you have a compost facility so you have less of that, gas coming out. So a lot of a lot of what we do, it's, already climate smart. It's just framing it that way. But everything we do is already, sequestration of carbon. We want that. We want native species. We have we have like financial assistance for pollinator. We have a pollinator practice that if you want to increase, like the pollinator in your land, we can, like write the practice for you. We work with you to implement it. And we go there to see how that is going. So we just visit one in Chesterfield, and it was beautiful. Like they established a native pollinator garden, like a couple acres, and it looks wonderful. And it's, like they are receiving, financial assistance to help native pollinators, and they have native seeds, and like those things are like, it's unprecedented for every farmer because bees travel, right? But every time that is something new, that can be done, and it is climate smart because it's helping and benefiting the farmer at the end of the day. So this is, the slide that I was talking about. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but I can send it to you and it can zoom out. But here's, like we have 5 offices, and we have a Greenfield, Hadley, Holden, Pittsfield. The state office, it is in Amherst. And all the offices, you can, reach out. There is a phone number there, and there is, the address. You can send an email, contact directly. You can request help. One thing that I want to talk about, like, before, what you need to get to help from NRCS, you need to have your track number, your farm track number, and you get that at FSA. So you probably interact with FSA before you come to us. But if you come to us and you don't have one, we will direct you to the field office for your town. And this is, we do every day. This is, like, it's not something that you're gonna be difficult in anything. It's part of the work, because we need that that track number, so we know exactly which survey to pull out when we see you, right? Which soil survey, which, how is the vegetation in that area, and every information that we interact with you. So it's for your own benefit, but it's you would need that FSA number. And I think I have a picture that I can pull up
And
to
Soraya,
show.
you might have said
Yeah,
this, but how does someone find their FSA number?
I will show you live.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. So, because that's one thing that I wanted to the first link I want to, can you see my Word document?
No, we're seeing your presentation,
Okay.
and your sort of the slideshow, the slide reel on
Okay.
the
Okay.
left-hand side.
All right.
And
So hold on one
you might,
second.
yeah, or you could always, if it doesn't want to switch, sometimes stopping share and then resharing if you're trying to share a
Yeah.
different document. Okay.
It's because he's choosing our window. No, one
Yes,
second.
yes. Zoom doesn't know
But
everything.
he has his own will. So I have a couple links that I'm gonna share with you guys, but this one, like, is our NRCS. We have a state page and everything there. Like, it stores Massachusetts. So if you want to know what is the state technical meeting doing, everything, all the information for the state is there. So the conservation video farm series that I opened, but you guys did not see it. But how to subscribe? This is a good one.
And like Zariah said, make sure your name is on our Google Doc, because that's the email blast I'll use as a follow-up. And Zariah is going to share this Word document with me so that I could share it with the rest of you.
So here you go to farmers.gov and you put your email here.
Oh, so we're still just seeing, unfortunately, the document. We're not seeing a website. I know you clicked on it. I think, again, Zoom is not playing nicely. Yeah, you might have to just stop sharing and resharing again.
Okay. I mean, maybe that is another way to share, because I can share entire screen.
Oh, see, I'm still just seeing your Word document. Oh, here you go. Okay, now we're getting.
Okay, now I'm sharing this screen, so you're gonna see my
Oh, okay,
homepage.
the website. Yeah, we're seeing the Google homepage.
So here, can you see this farmers.gov?
Farmers.gov. Yes, we can.
Yeah. So here's how you're gonna sign up. You put your email address here and you submit, and then it will show up if you want to create a password or not, and you sign up for the newsletter. This is the best way to be included in every communication, because as soon as you do that, you will come to the, like, there is a, let me create here a John Doe here. Just creating something so we can see this is the next screen, right? If you want to create a password or not, and they want to make sure you are not a machine, and then you submit. When you submit that, you already subscribe to our newsletter, so everything we do, we'll send it to you. And you can also open that and do, like, do whatever you want, like sign up for different types of newsletter. But the main newsletter, this is where I send all the notice of funding, all the information from the state, like the state technical committee meetings that open. It'll be great if you guys can participate. And this is what I was talking about, that is this grant opportunity, and it's open, and all the municipalities can participate. And I'm going to put it in the chat so you guys have it now. This is for the waste program, waste and compost program. You can create a proposal within your town with a private company that already collects the trash, and do it together with multiple towns if it's the company goes to multiple towns. But there is a great opportunity, underutilized money that we are not tapping in. And I see, that our waste facilities more is constantly being used, like they use this federal dollars, and we are here, we collect already, we have a lot of going on. Maybe it's already something, you already kind of doing, but then you're going to improve something. And that improvement, the different, that's what your proposal is going to be. It doesn't pay for something that you already do, but something that you want to think outside of the box. And I think this is, a great opportunity. It's open, and applications are due on September 4th. So you still have a month to go. It'll be great,
That's great to know about. That'd even be
Yeah.
good for us to share, presumably with like our DPWs and our school departments. If they don't have an active composting program, it sounds like this might be a perfect opportunity to sort of get some grant funding for it.
And no small project is like, it doesn't matter, like, I think you put the proposal there. If it's not this year, maybe next year, because sometimes, your proposal is ranked and they have more problems in another city than they have on yours. And then, but at some point, they come, oh, we like this project. Can you execute? Like, so I think it's always good to put your ducks on the road, then no.
Totally. Just to let you know, we can just see your blue desktop screen as your share,
Oh,
which is totally fine. I just wanted you to, oh, good.
okay.
Or we could just
Yeah.
like open it up if you're done with the
Yeah,
show
I'm
and
done with
tell.
my presentation. Yeah.
Yeah, so we are getting, so feel free if people want to write some questions in the chat. We already have one in there that I'll ask Soraya. And then
Mhm.
also a reminder, just be sure that your email address is on the Google Doc link so we can send the follow-up information. Zoraya's also been willing to share her presentation PDF. So that will be handy as well. Because this was just a wealth of knowledge, Zoraya. I mean, I think just a broad thing that I think a lot of conservation agents deal with is, of course, we wear lots of hats, and of course many of our towns do have farmland. Hopefully all of our towns have farmland, and some of it is owned, is managed by the Conservation Commission, and we really rely on a partnership with farmers because most conservation departments don't have the resources to really, or the expertise to really farm land. And some towns have really great programs. I think we have a Google group discussion list, and there's been some good discussion recently on people sharing farming stewardship practices and draft licenses, because with town land, it kind of gets into that sort of licensing program. um but so a lot of us really want to learn about these opportunities, and we can share it with our farmers. In Lincoln, we do have many farmers who license land, and I just learned about the soil testing opportunities that one of your programs allows, and we've been having, one of our farmers is having a challenge doing their own soil tests, so we're hoping to get some assistance from NRCS to help us collect some soil samples this fall. And that was a program I had no idea you guys offered.
That's great.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's a question in the chat we'll throw out there. You might have seen it. So Jackie from Stowe said, "Can we reach out to discuss specific projects with you, or for you to advise which grants may be most appropriate for a specific project?"
Yes, my email is there. If I'm not the person, because I don't hold the knowledge, I would direct you, guide you to the right person. Like we are a team. We have people that cover each one of those slides. That is a person that manages only that. So sometimes you have a question that I may know the answer, but someone that's way more qualified than I am to talk about and to discuss a project with you. But to brainstorm about grant ideas, please be my guest, because I worked, for the 10 years at UMass, I was soft funded. That's what I did, writing grants to, to support my own salary.
Yeah.
So I know, and, like with grants in general, you want to make sure that like you qualify for it. That's the first thing. And then you check the language that they already use in the grant and answer the questions that they want to answer in the grant.
Mhm.
Usually, this is my three things for grants.
That's perfect. And also just thinking about follow-up, hearing this presentation and thinking about, MSMCP is often looking for like in-person and more virtual programs. And one of the things that I've always been interested in learning more about is this, the conservation management plan that farmers can, request assistance from NRCS to sort of, review the property and sort of write a conservation plan. And, that might be even an opportunity if there is in one of our regions, a staffer who's going out to a farm, if it happens to be municipal land, to maybe even do like a field trip to sort of understand,
Mhm.
what does a conservation plan look like, and how does it benefit the town and the farmer.
Yeah. I think on that way, like it would be good if you contact the farmer directly, because they are the client. They probably will have a lease agreement with you guys, and we rely and on them, like it's a conflict of interest. So if they invite you, you'll be welcome to join, but we cannot do that. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? But
totally
we'd
get
be
it. Yeah.
happy to like to assist. And I think it's helpful. The more we know, the better. We can explain things and opportunities for people. The whole point of me doing this presentation and do the work I do is to make things transparent so people have access to it. Like my goal is every time we have a notice of funding that is federal, we have someone from Massachusetts applying because they know it exists. It is there.
Great. Well, and also I think it's wonderful once we get on these lists, because I was not familiar with that listserv, is again, a lot of us do have farmers that we license land to, and then we can forward that information to them in case they're not getting it. Because like you said, it really does take, I know in both the towns two of the three towns I've been involved with, Weston and Lincoln, we've had active farmers who have actively applied for and received NRCS grants. And as the municipal owner of the land, I've been very minimally involved. And so now I'm more curious about like, what is that process and how can we support our farmers better to try to, encourage them to go after grant funding, particularly because it seems like right now there's quite a bit of funding available.
Yes, indeed.
And some of these are like insurmountable projects in our heads, like we're actually in the process of putting in a water line at one of our farm fields. And it's literally been like a 2-year process. And we finally like broke ground this week at it. But, just thinking about wells and electricity, like some of our farm fields just don't even have any amenities. And so even when we have a farmer leave and we're trying to solicit new farmers, they're often discouraged because of the lack of resources available on that particular farm.
Yeah, and it's not my head to wear it, but I'm still gonna put it out there. So the state also has great program. I don't know if you know Rebecca, but she works, like with farm, like and I think, the food infrastructure grant, the urban ag grant, the venture program. So I think there are a lot of opportunity to improve that, even for farm, like if you have a new farmer or a new manager, it's like beginning farmer program is there too. So there are a lot of other opportunities. And when if you ever see there is an ag fair that the state does every year, that is a great thing to be part of because they invite everyone to the same thing, and you like kind of in a corridor, um know the resources everywhere in the state. I think it is, agriculture is not easy, otherwise everyone would do it, right? Agriculture is hard work and it's costs a lot of money, but we learned with the pandemic that we need to produce our food locally. Any supply chain disturbance can affect our food on the table. I think it's really important that we produce food in our state and tapping into every resources. It's like it is a must. And I think we help. We also direct people where they can get more help because it takes a village.
Definitely. Yeah, this has been so great, Zariah. It's almost noon. I am very excited to learn about these resources. And like I said, I wasn't subscribed to the Farmers.gov listserv either. And then I can try to pull some stuff and send it off to the conservation professionals in Massachusetts. Of course, we obviously have each other's contacts too. So if there's ever anything you want me to send out to the conservation agents in Massachusetts, I'm happy to do that. And as a follow-up, like I said, I'll send out an email. Zariah will provide me that Google Doc or the Word
Mhm.
doc and the presentation PDF that I can share with folks and help get the word out because this has really been a wealth of information.
I'm glad I can help, and you're welcome. I'm happy to help. And if you don't have contact from the people from the MDR, I'll be happy to, like provide them too, because they are they are there, like that's their job too.
Totally. Yeah. So I'll try to get the information from MDAR folks too, and I can add it to my follow-up email just so people have
Yeah.
that as well. Well, with that, thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Soraya. I really appreciate it, taking the time out today to kind of educate us. And I look forward to learning more about your programs and just be sharing it with other conservation professionals in Massachusetts.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.